Welcome to Wining and Dining with Gina Birch, a series where we dive into the experience of food and wine. We learn the stories behind those who create and cultivate both of them and have a little bit of fun along the way, of course. Today, I'm excited to have Hugo Del Pozzo. He's the owner of Pinea in the studio. From Spain, he owns one of the top producers of Ribera del Duero. It's Bodegas Pinea, correct?
Bodegas Pinea.
Pinea. Thank you. So anyway, it's great to have you.
Thank you, Gina. It's great to be here.
We've been going over my Spanish pronunciation. I'm doing fairly good, right?
Very well. Very well.
So, first of all, welcome, and we're glad to have you. Tell us about your little piece of the world in Spain and what makes it so special.
Yes, thanks again for having me. Ribera del Duero is a very well-known wine-producing region located approximately 2 hours north of Madrid in north-central Spain. The region, there are Roman ruins that document the production of wine over 2,000 years ago.
Wow.
And very well known around the world for whatever reason, not necessarily very well known in the US, but that's something we're working on by bringing great wine to the customers. The region is named after the Duero River, which originates in north-central Spain and traverses west to Portugal, where it reaches the Atlantic. And like I said, for 2,000 years, it has been producing wine. The river, if you can imagine, over thousands of years has carved a very broad canyon with its path. And our winery is located in the northern edge of that canyon, facing south, and at a really high elevation about the river. The region is known for producing Tempranillo wines. Historically, that's kind of what it's known for. But in the last few years, the appellation, which was started in 1982, also approved the production of white wines. So today I get to share some of both of our white wine and some of our reds.
How did you get involved in the wine business? I always love to know those stories because everyone takes a different route. Was yours a little bit circuitous, or were you born into the business?
I think a little bit of both. I'd like to say I was born into only because my heritage is from northern Italy on my father's side, northern Spain on my mother's side. And so I remember family dinners when these large family get-togethers with a bottle of wine at the family table. When I was too young to drink, the bottle of wine was there.
Are you ever too young when you grow up in a family like that? Well, just a little thimbleful, right?
Yes, sometimes a little watered down wine to get you started. Anyway, so I feel like in that sense, I was born into it. And then, but as a producer, it came late in life for us. My co-founder in the winery, Vicente, and I roomed together after college. We were childhood friends and decided to room together. And there we discovered our shared interest in wine. From time to time, we'd buy a nice bottle of wine and pull the cork and compare notes. And one thing led to the other. And eventually, Vicente and I decided to join forces. Vicente was running a winery in Ribera del Duero, Spain, but he was making good wines, but he wanted to produce world-class wines, and that's where our interests aligned, where our destinies intersected again. And so what do you need more than anything to produce world-class wines are world-class fruits. And luckily, I was not born into the wine industry because we had the ability to go get the pick up the litter, the best possible grapes we could find in Ribera del Duero. And then anyway, later we were able to buy the property from the family that we originally were buying grapes from. So a little bit of both. So
over those years, though, I mean, you've created quite a lovely little winery there, and the photos look beautiful. Do you have a tasting room? Do you have a hospitality center? Like for when people come and visit, what can we expect when we go there?
Yes. So we have, our winery is very functional. It's proper, but we're a relatively small producer. I mean, so not really set out to do a lot of hospitality for the moment. We have a tasting room. We have an amazing place, a beautiful setting, and a very nice, proper building. But it's not like somebody can come and knock on the door and say, "Hey, I'd like to taste your wines." We do offer private tastings to the members of our allocation club. And then from time to time, if we know somebody's coming, if you tell me, "Hey, Hugo, I'm going to be in Spain," and like, okay, call me, and then We just need to make sure that somebody's there to properly take care of you and drive you around and show you not only our winery, but really what we're really proud of is our property, our terroir, which is where all grapes come from.
Right. Well, I'm telling you now, Hugo, I'm going to be in Spain. I just don't know where or when. While we continue to talk, let's go ahead and taste one of your wines. And let's do the white, because you said this is something that's new and is a little bit atypical for the region. Was that fair to say? Or
more than atypical, I would say it's relatively new. I think the appellation just started allowing white wines to carry the appellation name, the stamp of authenticity, if you may, of the appellation a few years ago. And so we've always had some of these grapes growing between our Tempranillo vines. And at some point we realized we had enough to produce a fair amount of wine. And we went on to start making white wine. And as luck would have it, it turned out to be not too bad. So the white wine is called Corde, Korde. And Corde is a word used by the original settlers in this part of Spain. If you think of the first nomadic tribe that settled in north central Spain, they were called the Vaxean people. And they used this word when there was an emotional connection between two people as a result of a conversation. So
I like that word.
We thought pretty word, very original, authentic to this part of Spain. And we thought it was a fitting name for our pretty wines.
It smells pretty. It smells aromatic and fruity and all of that. I can't wait to try it. So what is the grape? What are we trying?
The grape is, I'm going to pronounce it in English or with an English accent, Albayo Mayor. In Spanish, it's pronounced Albillo Mayor. And the grape, I would say, has some of the characteristics of Chardonnay, maybe some Chardonnays, because not all Chardonnays are created equal, but very perfumey aromatics. And what we're able to achieve in the vinification process was a very nice texture, very nice balance. And at the risk of oversimplifying it, that is as a result of blending two separate vintages treated in very different ways. The first one is barrel fermented and exposed to barrel aging for a prolonged period of time, basically one full cycle until the next harvest comes. And the second harvest is produced in concrete egg-shaped vessels to preserve to preserve the fruit character of the grape, if you may, and enrich the fruitness of the wine. And so I love that you immediately appreciated the perfumey aromatics of the wine. And anyway, we ultimately blend the two vintages, and with that we achieve perfumey aromatics, great complexity, great structure, and a very nice texture.
So how long after you do that blending do you release it? Because you've let some of it age, and for white wines, they don't always, I know that I'm just drawing a blanket statement here, age the same as a lot of reds. I know that's very dependent on so many things. But so you let that age for a year, then you have the ones in the amphora or the concrete. Then is it like a total of 3 years for this process, or 2 years for the whole process for this wine?
A little over 2 years.
Okay. So you've got an investment in this one, definitely, time-wise.
Yes. The second vintage after fermentation is aged in oak, again, French oak, from the same cooperage that the top Burgundy producers use for their wines. It's called Taranceau. And so the French oak, again, the second part of the second harvest goes into French oak as well, but for a shorter period of time, approximately 6 months after fermentation. And so when you put together in first fermentation, approximately 12 months in oak, the second fermentation, approximately 6, and then at that point, we do the blending, we do the bottling, and we need to let it stabilize in the bottle for a few months. So ultimately reaches the market approximately 2 to 2.5 years after we produce it.
Is this grape indigenous to that area? Is this one of those grapes that we're not going to just see anywhere in the world?
Yes. Okay. And truth be told, we have a few bunches of other native varietals or indigenous varietals, not enough to really include them in the label, but a few bunches of, whether it's any other varietals. I hesitate to mention them because we're not. Is
it like a field blend, or are they all planted
like
separately?
If you think of about 1% field blend, so there might be a little bit Bobal and another indigenous varietals. But the leading varietal here is the Albillo Mayor.
Okay. Oh, I love it. It's just a beautiful wine. I mean, it's going to lend itself well to so many different food dishes, chicken, fish, pork, things with spice, even the vegetables, the nice salads that have all of those, the fresh herbs in there, I believe. It's just got so many really, and just sitting around by the pool or sitting outside and enjoying with your friends. What does the word relate to? How does it translate again?
Corde?
Yeah.
We in English, we say the connection of hearts through words.
Perfect. I mean, this is a perfect description of this wine. I mean, it really is. I love it. Before we get to the reds, I want you to brag a little bit. I mean, come on. You've got, I was reading, was it Enthusiast or Wine Spectator, top 100, and most of your wines are scoring 90 and above. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Thank you. And there's a love-hate relationship between producers and scores, because ultimately the best score we can get is a smile on the person that's tasting our wines face. But yeah, I know we have been very blessed. Like I said, the winery was started with a very dreamy purpose of producing world-class wine. So 10 years into the process, to get the recognition from the leading wine critics has been very, very just great validation. And even though our best wines are ahead, we're very proud of the results that we have received to date. For instance, this wine that we just tasted was rated 95 points by Wine Enthusiast last May. And that is the highest score given to any white wine from Spain.
Nice.
And then you mentioned the 99 point and the number 6 wine in the top 100. That is a very limited edition of our red wines called Pisol, which is a single barrel edition of the Pinea that we're going to taste here in a few minutes. And the Pisol is like the heart of our project, the soul of our project into a bottle of wine. So the most complex, if you may, of all the wines that we produce. And the Wine Enthusiast was very kind to us. They rated it 99 points.
Jeez. Which
is the highest score awarded by Wine Enthusiast to a Spanish wine since 2010.
Now are you sold out? Can we even get it? You get those scores and it's like disappears.
Luckily it has. We have a few left over in library reserve. So yes, we can talk about that.
Yeah. So if we find those anywhere on the shelves or while we're out in the restaurants, definitely get that. All right, let's move on to the red and tell me about what we will be tasting next. Yes. Thank you, by the way, for bringing these in to share and what the appetite of everybody, the palates of people listening, to go and find them.
My pleasure. So our project started, like I said, trying to source the best possible Tempranillo grapes, which are the grapes that the Ribera del Duero and many of Spanish wines are really known for. Because of the high elevation in our property, in our vineyards, and the high presence of limestone, our wines have very nice texture, very nice complexity, and very perfumey aromatics. And that is in a large way attributed to the diurnal-nocturnal shift of temperatures, which in our part of the world is common to see 40 to 45 degree temperature shift.
Right.
This wine that we're going to taste is called 17, produced with 100% Tempranillo. And the way we achieve this wine is by blending grapes harvested from 7 different vineyards in our property. The vineyards share some commonalities, elevation being one of them, very mature vines. And then everything is organically, biodynamically, and sustainably farmed. So with the purpose really not to sell an organic wine, but with the purpose of enriching the fruit and
just
producing
making it the best you can.
The best we can. So I would say it's organic plus, even though we're not really into certifying the process.
So, and what year are we tasting again?
This is the 2020 vintage of 17.
Okay, so brand new. Are we some of the first to try it?
Our current release. It's been in the market about 6 months.
Okay, so it's still young, or still new. Boy, this is pretty too. It's nice red fruits. It smells a little bit complex. I'm excited to see what's going to be on the palate. I'm letting it open in the glass a little bit. And this one obviously hasn't been rated yet, but it's brother or sister, or has it? You're shaking your head. Is this the one that was the...
This particular vintage has only been rated by Enthusiast, and it earned a score of 93.
Of course. 90s.
Then in previous vintages that are now have come and gone, it has achieved a 95 by Decanter, 94 by James Suckling, 93 regularly from some of these top leading wine critics. But yeah, no, we're very happy. This is the first vintage that we aged the wine in 100% French oak, and so it just gives the texture a very elegant profile. The tannins are very finely integrated, and it gives the texture a very velvety feel, which are what the best Tempranillos are known for.
It's in a lovely garnet color, too. It's nice and rich looking. All right, let's try it. That's nice. It's a nice long finish. No arms and legs sticking out. It's balanced. I can tell it's young, but so you would you decant this, do you think, before you would serve it, or you just, either way, I mean, it tastes good now, but.
Yes, no, I think ultimately that's a personal decision.
Right.
I don't tend to decant it, even though you saw the cork come out, and of course it would.
I mean, literally you just opened this wine, so.
It would be more expressive for sure. To me, what's more important than decanting is the temperature of the wine, because some of these wines, they have a lot going on, a lot of, they have a very nice balance, but with relatively high alcohol, relatively high acidity, relatively, obviously very expressive. And so, especially in places like Florida, if you serve them warm, the alcohol is going to become a little volatile, and it might not be as pleasant as serving it at cellar temperature, or anyway, at the proper temperature. But as far as decanting, I would say everything goes. I love that this wine, you pull the cork and it's ready to go. So we're all busy, and sometimes we have a busy, we don't have time to let a wine decant, and you can just pull the cork and enjoy this wine. It certainly benefits from decanting. So if you have the time and opportunity, I encourage decanting. The longer, the better.
I love the red fruits in this. I love the spice as it opens up on your tongue. I mean, it just covers the mouthfeel is vibrant, and wow, I would like this with some fatty meats maybe.
Yes, so you asked earlier about the region, and the Ribera del Duero is known for being the wheat field of Spain. A lot, because the richness of the soil, a lot of wheat is produced here, and of course, over centuries with wheat come the ability to feed animals, especially after harvest, the grasses provide a great source of food for animals, and so the region is known for also producing a lot of protein, whether it's lamb, sheep, goat, pork, and beef, of course. And so historically, the character of the wines from Ribera del Duero has been polished to go with that high protein food or diet in this part of Spain. And so, yeah, absolutely, they complement the acidity in the wine, the richness of the wine. The elegance of the wine is a great pairing with some of these proteins that the region is known for. Herb-encrusted
lamb. That's what I'm craving right now. Some lamb that's has some beautiful fresh herbs on it. Wow.
Absolutely.
That's great.
That might be one of the ideal pairings for it. Yeah. So I love your suggestion.
Ding.
Yes. But what's interesting is the Tempranillo, when it's elegant like this, I've been privy to be at the dinners that restaurants put together, and they invite me to talk about our winery. And I've seen this wine even paired with like very lightly seared tuna. And you don't necessarily think of red wine to be paired with tuna, but because it's not overpowering, it actually went very, very well.
I could see that, especially if it had a little bit of the pepper on the tuna, like a seared with some of the pepper as a seasoning. That would, I think, would go well. I bet that's a fun part of your job too, is seeing how these different chefs take the flavors of these wines and really run with it. And everybody tastes something different. That's one of the things I love about wine. It's art in a glass. So we all experience it different. We all smell and taste something different when we drink it.
Absolutely. I couldn't say any better. It's art, but it's also a lot of blessings. If people realize all the things that have to go right for us to enjoy a glass of wine, we would literally feel differently about what we pay for it. We are, even though we try to control everything we can in terms of the way we farm the vineyards, they're not irrigated, so we're at the mercy of the elements. We find ourselves often on our knees praying that that really cold weather doesn't turn into a freeze, especially late in the winter or early spring where the vines had already sprouted. And then sometimes we're praying for rain. Sometimes we're praying for rain to stop, or sometimes we're praying for hail not to hit our vineyards. And then obviously fermentation to start, because it's spontaneous fermentation to preserve the quality of the wine. So all of those things that are truly beyond our control ultimately reflect in a glass of wine.
Pinea, Pozzo, Corday, what else can we find in the States?
Yes. Corday actually has 3 different expressions. So same name, label, Korde. We tasted the white wine from Corday. We also have a light skin contact Tempranillo that we affectionately refer to as a rosé. But I'd say it's a rosé for people that really like red wine. It has, if you can imagine, it has richness to it. It's got structure. It's a very purposefully produced rosé. What I mean by that, this is not bled off juice from yes, or blended with white wine. No, this is early harvested, so that the expression of the Tempranillo is slightly different. It's a little more red fruit, if you may. So you just tasted 17. The Corday Rosé would probably give you more hints of strawberry and raspberry and very, very fruity, perfumey aromatics, which make it great for pairing. And unlike other rosés, this can be paired with lamb, this can be paired with pork, this can be paired with quail. It's very versatile. And for instance, in Spain, it was selected by the readers of one of the largest newspapers there as the best wine of any color, red, white, rosé, or any color to pair with seafood paella. So that gives you a little bit of a sense of how flexible it is for pairing with dishes. And we also have, last year we released a red version of Corday. And you just tasted 17. You notice complexity, you notice structure. The Corday Red is a fresher expression, not aged as long in oak. So the tannins are not as evident as they were in 17. And again, you talked about wine enthusiasts. Well, James Suckling, who is one of the leading wine critics, stopped by and tasted our wine, and they loved Corday Tinto, the red, to the point that there's a version online that they kept their wine crush of the week, and they showed Corday Tinto, and I love the way the critic ends his review by saying, "This is a wine that I would drink the whole bottle of."
Wow, that's nice.
But very different expression that you tasted, right? It's, if you think of more of a Rhone expression of the Tempranillo with spices and. Anyway, I'll bring a bottle next time.
Yeah, I look forward to that. The wine that you brought that has the velvety label, it's like literally has texture on the label. Which one is that one to look for?
That's the 17 that we just tasted.
Okay,
yes. And this, I would say, this is the easiest to find.
Okay. It's very simple label. We'll take pictures. You'll see it as well, so you can find it. But it stands out. It's
the name of the wine is 17. And the reason we named it 17 is 2017 is a very important year in our history. It's the year that we were able to acquire the property, our vineyards, from the family that had owned them for 3 generations. It's also the year that we released our first vintages, 2014 Pinea and 2015 17, to the market. So we were working on our label designs, and we knew we were going to celebrate this year, and coincidentally, a professional golfer from Spain that I now call a dear friend, his name is Sergio Garcia. I didn't know him at the time, but he and his girlfriend tasted this wine and loved it, and they wanted to serve it at their wedding. And the wedding theme was white and green, so we collaborated with them to make the label white and green to celebrate a very important thing that happened for them in 2017, their wedding, of course, but also Sergio Garcia winning the Masters tournament.
That's cool.
His first major.
Yeah, and it's kind of that color a little bit. Oh, we got to let you give a shout out to your winemaker.
Absolutely. Well, I would say if I'm going to give a shout out to our winemaker, it truly is a collaborative effort.
Okay.
Our philosophy is that the wines are made in the vineyard. They're finished in the winery. And if I'm going to give a shout out to our winemaker, it starts with our team, viticulture team, really led by my partner, Vicente. He's very passionate in the vineyard. Obviously, all these things we talk about, organic viticulture, biodynamic viticulture, they're a labor of love. It's a lot of work. It's expensive. but that Vicente is his element with dirt in his boots, so to speak, and he's the leader of that viticulture process. And then along with Vicente, we have a couple of very, very renowned winemakers. The first one, David Ayala, has been recognized as one of the top 10 young winemakers from Spain. He comes from a 3-generation winemaking family from Spain. So he's savvy beyond his young age. He just turned 30 and incredible passion and consistency. When we brought him to the team, he was already a very accomplished winemaker, but we also wanted to support him with somebody with a little more silver hair on their head, if you may. And so the team is rounded with our consultant winemaker, Andres Vignoni, who's a winemaker from Argentina, who before going independent was the head winemaker for Paul Hobbs in their Viña Cobos project. And prior to working for Paul Hobbs, he had experience working in Burgundy, New Zealand, and California. So he kind of brought a worldview of what great winemaking should be. And he has been incredible, bringing us best practices in the industry, amazing traceability for where our grape is sourced, and obviously the vinification processes, where before we might just throw grapes in 10 different 500-liter barriques. Now we know exactly which grapes from what section of the vineyard go into each barrel. So anyway, as a consequence, our wines continue to elevate themselves. And you just tasted the white wine, which is
amazing.
The first vintage really that Andres and David had their hand over. Prior to then, it was mostly Vicente leading the charge.
So small production, we can find these at upscale restaurants, your local boutique wine shops, and you can join. You said you do have a club that you can join and get shipments as well.
Yes. We started a club last year. We have been blessed. Last time I checked, we had over 550 members. And that's the best way to make sure that you get some of our upcoming releases. We are very focused on quality, not quantity. And so as we're growing slowly, our production also has the demand for our wines grown. And so we want to make sure that we reward people that have supported us along the way and continue to give them access to our wines. So yeah, I encourage any of your listeners to visit us on our website at www.pinea.wine. And then there's a big button there on the top right corner, if memory serves me right, that says allocation. That's a good way, even if there's no purchase necessary to join. So it's a good way for us to be connected and keep our fans, our wine enthusiasts, apprised of new releases. And so we love to work with the best wine shops in the markets that we work in. For instance, we're here in Florida, so Naples comes to mind, and so we partner with the top wine retailers to give them an allocation of our wine so that their customers can have access to them. And unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, the demand for our wines is growing around the world, and so that'll become even more challenging to make sure that our wines reach the hands of those that seek them. But we'll do our best. 17 is fairly, because it's the one that we produce the most of. I think this release was about 44,000 bottles. That one is a little bit easier to find at wine retailers. Don't go to the big box retailers. You won't find it there. But the boutique wine retailers that know their customers, usually it's a good place to look. And if you can't find it there, ask for it. And our distributors would be happy to make it available to them. And fine dining. We are so blessed that we work with literally the best restaurants in the world and the best steakhouses in the world. And you have a lot of those here in South Florida, but whether it's Denmark, Spain, the United States, Sweden, you name it, Chicago, somebody just sent me a photo. Hey, I'm at Alinea, one of 13 restaurants in the United States with 3 Michelin stars. And they sent me a photo. Look, and the Somme, literally, I'll show you here when we finish. The Somme is pouring Pinea with, it's a short rib, a Wagyu short rib with Pinea. So made my mouth water.
Yeah, right. You just went away. You disappeared for a minute. Oh, I'm picturing this meal. Well, thank you so much, Hugo. And I know you live in the U.S., so hopefully you'll people around who are listening to this will get to see you and experience your wines when you're out traveling in person. And we appreciate you coming in and sharing these wines. And you brought the bottle of, what is that? Is that the...
Yes, you haven't tasted our flagship.
Oh, we have one more.
Yes,
Holy
this is
heck.
What you tasted is just our second label. If you don't
Wait,
mind.
I'm not dumping. I got to finish this. For some reason, I thought we only had two.
No, this is.
Hold the phone, baby.
I brought this in my backpack. So.
You got something special for us.
You get a premiere. So you talked about ratings, and I mentioned Pinea Sol getting 99 points. This is not quite that good, but it's 96 points by wine enthusiast, 95 points by Wine Spectator.
Most people would kill to have a 96-point rating. It's not that good. It's 96, not 99, but I get it.
Well, and that's why we have this love-hate relationship.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, what matters is when you taste it.
We like it.
There are 100-point wines that you may or may not like.
I agree.
They're great wines, but they might not be your cup of tea or your glass of wine.
Yeah, there you go.
And anyway, Pinea is a little different expression of the Tempranillo. 17 was a multi-vineyard expression where it achieves its complexity from the different soil characteristics. Pinea is a single vineyard, and the fruit for this wine is sourced from very mature vines. I showed you some of those really old, gnarly vines.
They're crazy looking, yeah.
Yes, so some of these vines are over 95 years young. We don't know exactly how old they are, but we know that in 1929, one of the generations of the family transferred it to the next generation. And we know that at least they're 95.
Wow, this smells divine.
So a lot more attention to detail in the winemaking process here. It's the fruit is triple selected. It starts at the vineyard selection table, and then when it goes into barrels, the fermentation occurs spontaneously in 500-liter French oak barriques. And then we let it sit. Every vintage is a little different, but anywhere between 24 and 36 months to really let those tannins finally integrate with the wine and develop a very elegant structure and a long, lingering finish.
And this is 100% Tempranillo. This one is. The color's a little bit darker than the... It smells a little more robust, like the fruits are going to be a little darker and more jammy. And it kind of tastes that way too. This almost has a little leathery quality to me in a good way. It's just like all of those components that you would smell in a nice leather, but it's kind of in the glass. Does that make sense?
A little more Bordeaux-esque, perhaps. Do I dare say that? Yes, and of course...
it's opening, so I know it's going to be changing. But
yes, and literally, this is a wine that I would recommend decanting for how long do you have. I've pulled the cork on this and drank it several days later just to get the most complexity out of it. But this is one of those wines that literally represent the terroir, represent the vintage. Every vintage is slightly different. So you just mentioned leatheriness. For sure, this vintage has some of that leatheriness. And I would say it's probably a little more fruit forward than previous vintages. But the year was warm. So the fruit kind of shows that heat during the year. Previous vintages, like the 2014, was more round, not as fruit forward. The oak probably takes a little bit too much of a leading role in the 2014. The 2017 is even more Bordeaux-esque, so more of these forest floor earthiness that people that enjoy Bordeaux wines really, really felt attracted to. And the 2018, which is the one we've been quoting on scores and being named one of the top 5 wines from Spain by Wine Spectator, achieved a very nice balance. So you get the fruit, but also the very nice acidity, very nicely integrated tannins.
Initially trying this, I want a big steak. I want a juicy steak with this. It has nice tannins. It just has a nice, it coats your mouth, but not in a like totally drying, you're sucking all the saliva out way. It's just a nice... Oh, you know what? I think if you could get a hold of this, you should buy a couple to save and one to drink now, and then open it in 3 or 4 or 5 years, and then hold the other one for maybe 10 years and just see how it just draws out and how it changes and evolves, because that's a beautiful wine too.
Thank you. Absolutely. I couldn't recommend it better. It is approachable, unlike some of these other wines, and they're great wines, whether it's from Italy or France or the U.S., that are almost unenjoyable if you drink them too young. I'd like to think that this one is enjoyable, it's approachable, but definitely patient cellaring has its rewards.
Yeah.
And,
that's why you buy the 17s. You can drink it faster and hold on to this, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Hugo, thank you again for coming in to the studio and sharing these beautiful wines. Congratulations on all of your accolades. And we look forward to finding your wines out and about in the marketplace.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to next time.
Excellent. Hugo Del Pozzo, he's the owner of Pinea from Spain, Ribera del Duero region. And if you can find these wines, definitely try them. You will not be sorry. Thanks for listening to Wining and Dining with Gina Birch.